Nation of Fitin10, it is day 7, officially 10% into this challenge, at least formally speaking, with the dates that we have. We are going to get some bonus time at the end. But for the sake of formality, we are 10% into this challenge, 1 week in, and I've got to really say that I'm super happy to see all of the feedback in Slack. I know that people are posting questions, concerns, they're asking for ideas, and by the time I check Slack, there's already been, whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 replies to that person. So, this is super important. The support level is probably more important than anything, because, this is what's really going to help you to continue, especially at this stage of the game, because everything is new. It's probably a little bit daunting, and heck, you're probably struggling with some things. Well, we know that for sure because of what was one person wrote today. So, and I appreciate this, by the way. So I will talk about that in a second. But one thing I want to just talk about here is, because I felt that wasn't super clear, is, or maybe I was, I didn't even watch the video, but I just felt like I wasn't clear. So I'm just going to say it again. So with MyFitnessPal's sugar limitations that it gives you, just remember that when we talk about carbohydrates and putting fiber aside, so let's just forget about fiber. When we talk about carbohydrates, we are essentially just talking about sugar. That's it. Because really, there's two types of carbohydrates. Again, putting fiber aside, there's two types. We've got simple sugar and we've got complex sugar. Okay, simple sugar being what we term as sugar. And then we've got starch. That's complex sugar. Okay? So effectively what's happening is when you have a starch, it's just a chain of sugars that's being broken down. So it's a slower release of sugars. But they're both sugar, okay? And when you're having simple sugars, these monosaccharides or disaccharides, these smaller units, when you're eating them with other foods like protein and or fat and or fiber, it becomes a completely different ballgame, okay? That sugar doesn't affect you like sugar on its own would, okay? Let's just use a very, clear example here. Eating table sugar on its own, okay, is very different than eating table sugar with a tablespoon of peanut butter, with some broccoli and a steak. That is a totally different scenario. And the way that sugar would affect you versus the sugar on its own, the sugar with all that food versus the sugar on its own, is entirely different, okay? So let's not be too consumed with this. I don't know why MyFitnessPal does it, because it's a grave oversimplification in my opinion, okay? So don't worry so much about that. Okay, so there was, I guess, a post today put out about, somebody not feeling as though, or they felt that I'm not sure if they feel full or if psychologically they just feel like they're eating too much. But to this person, right off the bat, I want to tell you that this is normal. We get a lot of people saying this in the beginning. So there's that. And also, if you just look at your estimated BMR, okay, which is the amount of energy your body consumes doing absolutely nothing every day. So just imagine being, in a coma, okay? That's how much energy your body's consuming. That BMR that's on the right top corner of your sheet, okay? So you've got your BMR, and then you've got your non-exercise activity for the day. So all the energy you expend doing your daily activities, walking wherever you're going, taking a shower, washing dishes, getting dressed, whatever it is, talking to your friends, moving your hands around like I'm doing when I'm talking, this all requires energy. And we call that non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So you've got your NEAT. You've got your exercise activity. So you're burning energy there as well. And then you've also got the thermic effect of food. So even though you're getting, let's just say, 1,700 calories per day, somewhere around there, I know that's what you're probably getting. Not all of that calorie is actually going in your body. Well, it is going into your body, but my point is it takes energy to digest that food. Okay, especially protein. Protein's got a very high thermic effect. So believe me when I say this, you are in a deficit. You're not going to gain weight. It's the types of foods that you're eating. If I said to you, listen, eat X amount of calories, let's just say it's 1,700 calories. If I said eat 1,700 calories, but eat absolutely whatever you want, Don't worry about the types of food you eat. Don't worry about your macros. Just get that food in. Eat whatever your heart desires. You would have absolutely no problem doing that, okay? It's the types of foods, especially with the protein. You're eating more satiating foods. You're eating, especially if you're eating real whole food, you're eating more voluminous food. You're eating calorie-sparse food. So the volume is higher, but the amount of energy is lower on average than what you're having. And how do I know this? I know this because you would not have, and I'm not speaking to you specifically, I'm talking to you guys in general as a whole, you would not have the body fat level that you have, certainly you wouldn't, if your calories were that low on a continuous basis, okay? And remember, we do not want to create too much of a deficit here, okay? Well, maybe you don't remember this because I haven't talked about it, okay? But some of you might remember, if you're redoing this challenge, a large deficit is not in your long-term interest. It is not in your long-term interest, and I'm going to talk about this in a future video. And there's several reasons why it's not in your long-term interest. Okay? So we always want to think long-term. We want to think about chipping away every day. In fact, you're doing more than just chipping away. You're doing more than just chipping away. I'm actually being more aggressive with you guys, generally speaking, than I would with a personal client. So just have faith in this and know that every day you're digging. And before you know it, aside from me lowering your calories, which isn't going to be very much, by the way. I do lower your calories, but it's not very much. It's about chipping away every day, and before you know it, it builds up. That chipping away, that emptying out of your body, you can think of it. So we're pulling away a little bit every day. We're pulling. Then all of a sudden, you just like, man, I need more food. This is going to happen. Okay? You have to think about this as a system. You have to think about this as something that you need to follow through over time. What's an analogy? I don't know. Let's say you're working towards a PhD and it's your first day of university in your undergrad. You can't do a week of classes and be like, but I don't have my PhD. I want my PhD here. No, it's a system and a process you have to go through, right? But that first week still counts, and that first week still makes a difference, and that first week is still part of that foundation. Okay? So have faith, do your best to get your numbers, enjoy it while it lasts, because so long as you're not having days where you're falling off the wagon and you're over-consuming, so long as you stick to what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to tell me that you're hungry in the near future. Okay? All right? So just hang in there. Again, if you don't want to believe me, just look at your BMR on your paper, and then you're burning at least on top of your BMR, you're burning at least another 600 calories per day, at least. Okay, so every day you're so long as your numbers are right and they're accurate. This is another topic all unto its own. I did talk about it yesterday. You want to make sure your entries are accurate, right? You want to make sure that actually what you're having, what your diary says that you're having, you're actually having, right? We want to make sure that that's accurate, right? So long as you're doing that, you're going to get great results, okay? All right, we've got people in this challenge who have lost 40% before, okay? So maybe they want to chime in, okay? All right, let's get the message of the day. And I jumped ahead for the message of the day. This is normally not something I would say on day 7, but I'm going to say it. This is a process. This is a process. Okay, maybe it's not the sexiest message of the day, but this is a process. It's not about how you feel during the day. It's not about how you feel after doing it for 1 day or 2 days or a week. It's about an ongoing process that needs to be reasonable. And I would argue that this is maybe even slightly unreasonable because it's actually more of a deficit than I would do with most people. It's a process, it takes time, and you're chipping away every day, all right? It's very easy for me just to, reduce your calories. I just have to go to my spreadsheet and just do it. It's no skin off my back. I mean, I could just give you less calories. It's very easy, right? So why don't I? Because I'm trying to really help you long term, that's why. Okay, I'm going to show you that you don't have to believe a lot of the BS that's out there on the internet with, oh, you got to follow this specific diet, or you got to cut out all your fats, or you've got to go gluten, or you've got to go vegan, or no, you don't have to do any of that, okay? And it's fine if you want to do those things and you can maintain it, it's fine. If you want to follow a specific kind of diet, I'm not putting that down. If it's maintainable for you, if you can sustain it, that's totally fine, okay? But I'm here to show you that you don't have to do that, okay? This is a process. This is a process. Be patient, do your best, and have faith in the program, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to you all very soon. See you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.